Welcome to the Albuquerque Journal's Tech Outlook podcast. CNM is truly one college with infinite possibilities in tech and data sciences. CNM offers programs where everyone can learn about software, apps, or how to build websites. You can also choose from AI programs and machine learning, the Internet of Things, and so much more. CNM, one college, infinite possibilities, and the proud sponsor of the Tech Outlook podcasts.
Hi, I'm Rozanna Martinez, business reporter with the Albuquerque Journal. Welcome to episode 9 of Tech Outlook. Here with me today is Brian Barnett, CEO of Solstar Space. Welcome to the show, Brian. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
So first off, can you tell me a little bit more about your company, Solstar Space, and its contributions to the space community?
Sure. Solstar Space is a space communications company, and we specialize in developing products and services that connect spacecraft to Earth using modern internet-type technologies. And so we're most well known for being the company that demonstrated the first commercial Wi-Fi hotspot inside of a spacecraft. And we did that a few years ago on board a company that's owned by Jeff Bezos. It's called Blue Origin. You might have seen it on TV where they fly. They're flying people up, including like William Shatner recently, Captain Kirk. So that's where we had our Wi-Fi device. And so we had a hotspot inside and then a satellite internet connection to the rocket to provide the connection. And then we tweeted the first tweet from space on that flight. So that's what we're well known for.
Wonderful. Well, how exciting. And how did you get involved in something like this?
So it's a great question. I've had satellite communications companies since 1999 here in New Mexico. So this is my 25th year as an entrepreneur in the satellite communications industry. And before that, I was a consultant with KPMG, a management consultant. And I worked here in the Albuquerque office. I managed the consulting practice, and so we did high-tech consulting and space consulting. Before that, I was with NASA, and so I worked in astronaut crew training and was training to be a crew interface coordinator, which is the person on the ground at Mission Operations Center that talks to the astronauts during the flight. And I worked on a number of experiments that flew on the space shuttle and the space station. So I just combined my interest in space exploration and my experience at putting experiments and payloads into space with my satellite communications experience in my companies and combined those. And then 10 years ago, we flew the first time to see if this would all work out of Spaceport America, in fact. And we sent the first commercial text messages to a spacecraft that day from the Bosque School here in Albuquerque. So I have a lot of roots here. I've been here a long time in the high-tech community and decided to headquarter this company here as well.
Wow. So with Bosque School, can you tell me a little bit about, did you work together with the administration or with the students on that project?
Yeah, my kids went to Bosque. And so when we were going to do this project to send text messages to a spacecraft, then I decided to approach the Bosque School, and they put together their advanced physics students to work on the project. And so that's what we did. They sent the text messages from the Bosque School here in Albuquerque to the spacecraft, which was above Spaceport America.
That's exciting. And how did the students, what was their reaction?
Well, I think that they were excited. I think that probably over time they'll kind of figure out how significant what they did was. They had T-shirts made that said, "I sent a text message to space today. What did you do?" So, and they were very helpful.
And I saw that Solstar Space was recently awarded $1.25 million from the U.S. Space Force, and it's the Phase 2 SBIR contract for the Sladen wideband space communicator. Can you give me a little more details on that?
Yes, that was a really important contract win for us because we've been working on this space communicator for a number of years. So this gives us some funding to build the product and get it commercialized. And so what the Sladen Space Communicator is it's a satellite internet device that you put onto spacecraft before it's launched, and then to provide an internet connection to the spacecraft. And the Space Force was interested in it because they need kind of better ways to be in touch with their satellites when they're in space. So our technology is going to modernize how that's done. They need to communicate with their satellites to tell it what to do, or to take pictures, or to bring information down, or video down. And currently, they don't have constant access to their contact with their satellites because the older technology has to fly over, the satellite has to fly over a ground station on land before you can communicate with it. So with our solution, you have 24/7 contact with the spacecraft, so that if you need to contact it at any time with our technology, you can do that.
Well, that's very exciting. Congratulations on that. That's exciting. On a different note, I found it very interesting. I hear that you were featured in a movie, Space Drummer, that is actually part of the Santa Fe Film Festival. So how did you become a part of that film?
We've been documenting the progress of these companies in video and film for 10 years. So, for instance, we documented that text-to-space project in film, I just wanted to do that. I wanted to document everything and put it into documentaries, and eventually maybe have more of a full-length documentary showing the progress as we continue to go higher and higher in space and do more things. So I had, we filmed. We also filmed the Wi-Fi in space because I wanted to document the point when the tweet came in, like on somebody's cell phone. And so we did that. And so this is our third film. And we filmed in Santa Fe. We filmed our team doing strategic management. And then we also filmed, I've played the drums my whole life. I've been a professional drummer, and I've kept it up. And we just started thinking about the ways that being a drummer is kind of handy for being a CEO, because as a drummer, you're pretty much it's the mother of all multitasking, because you're using both arms and your legs and your mouth if you're singing. So as a CEO, whether you like it or not, you're juggling a million things at once. And we are, one of our core values is the arts as well, our company. So I'm kind of involved with moving with arts in space, this whole idea of when you're in space, you also will be taking music along with us. And so we kind of combine those two things. And our director, they decided to kind of make that the focus of this film. It's a short film, and it's going to be screened. So we were accepted to the Santa Fe Film Festival, which we were really excited about. And we're screening Sunday the 28th at noon. And so you can buy tickets for that and other films at SantaFeFilmFestival.com.
Wonderful. And will you be attending the film festival?
Yeah. The Solstar team, we're going up for the screening and celebrating that event. And then they have the awards ceremony on Saturday, the 27th. And so we'll be attending that as well.
Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
And how was it, working on that? It's, you You did say that it goes hand in hand. I mean, drummer being the heart of the band, basically, keeping the beat. And, how was it just combining your musical background with, what you're doing with the race to space?
I want to keep the arts up in my own life. It's really important for me, and I think it helps balance what I'm doing, the stress of being a CEO, and just continue to play the drums. And so, I've started to give lectures on playing the drums in space. And so, if you think about it, since there's no gravity in space, then everything's kind of not messed up, but it's way different. So your drums would be floating around unless you affix them to the spacecraft somewhere. And if you flip the drumsticks, like we do as drummers, we like to flip them up. Well, in space, your drumstick would just go flying and start ricocheting around the spacecraft. So myself and there's a few other people around the world, other artists and musicians who are starting to think about this a lot more, about what it will be like to take arts to the moon when we have a moon base and that sort of thing, and in space stations. So it's a pretty interesting combination.
Sounds like it. And what does it sound like? I know when you go into a studio, they soundproof the room and you have, these acoustics that happen. But in space, how do you control that?
Yeah, excellent question. So if you're in a space station, for instance, it's like being inside of an airplane. So the sounds would be pretty much the same inside of a space station. And if you're in outer space, like if you're doing a spacewalk and you're trying to play a musical instrument out there, if you could, it would be quite different.
I can imagine that.
You could hear, if you're hitting a drum, you could hear that sound, but a lot of things would be different.
Sure, absolutely. Well, that's phenomenal. I never thought about musical instruments in space, but
exactly.
That's wonderful. And are there any other projects on the horizon for you coming up?
On the company side?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're working on another contract right now, building another product called the Deep Space Communicator, and that's really exciting. It's a device, again, that you can put onto spacecraft to provide. It's a lower data rate than the Slayton space communicator that we just got the contract for. So you can do different things with it, but like you can control a satellite with it. You can use it as a device to provide what we call TT&C, that's telemetry, tracking, and control. But you're in contact with the satellites again, and you can turn things off and on. You can see what the temperature is on the satellite if you wanted to do that with sensors. And we're also going to put Wi-Fi on both of these devices, so that you'll have a Wi-Fi hotspot at the spacecraft around it. So if you have Wi-Fi enabled experiments, for instance, like your printer's Wi-Fi enabled and your laptop, you can just print stuff because they have the ability to use the Wi-Fi in your office or wherever you are. And so we're providing that same capability on spacecraft. So if you're on the ground and you're a scientist who wants to interact with their experiment, then they can be on their laptop and just go through the internet to interact with their experiment that's in space. And if the experiment or payload is Wi-Fi enabled, then they can use the Wi-Fi just remotely from here. Some of the other applications which are really cool are you can put our devices outside space stations as well, for instance. So you can provide Wi-Fi inside a space station, for instance, for the astronauts to use, like we use Wi-Fi here, but also the experiments and payloads inside the space station as well as outside of the space station, if they can use the Wi-Fi as well, and for spacewalks. So astronauts need Wi-Fi when they do spacewalks now too. As well as on the lunar surface, we've actually been involved quite a bit. NASA is going back to the moon. It's a program called Artemis, and it's our nation wants to go back to the moon permanently this time, and so there's a lot of activities. There are a lot of activities going on in terms of building the spacecraft that are going to land and take the astronauts there, and you have lunar rovers on the surface, and all those need Wi-Fi. So the astronauts need Wi-Fi on their spacesuits and to connect them to the landing spacecraft or the lunar base. And the rovers, when they're driving around, they need to be able to contact the base or the Earth using Wi-Fi. And so we've been contracted to build the Wi-Fi on the moon and support those activities as well.
Wow. Well, this has been a fascinating interview. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you coming. And then hopefully we can have you back so you can discuss some of the future projects that you just mentioned.
Thanks a lot, Rozanna. Thanks for this opportunity, and thanks to the Journal for being interested in this, our New Mexico company.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.